Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Overclockers UK podcast. My name is Bryony. I'm here with the lovely Jacob, who's also from Overclockers, and Mr. Greggles.
We're actually very excited to be here, Greg. So, one, thank you for taking the time.
No worries.
Yeah, but so we've had a few chats with people today, and we, as Overclockers, have known you for a very, very long time at this point now. I know you've worked with Stephen for a very long time, and been good friends with Stephen for a long time.
Yeah, I've sort of done things on and off with Overclockers in a creator capacity, in a business capacity, in just general, hey Greg, we need some help for. I think it's going on about 12 years now.
Wow, yeah. So it just shows like the long-standing nature of how long we've kind of known you. But I also don't think we've, as Overclockers, sat down and just gone like, "Here's Greg," like in front of our audience, like I just had a chat with you. Yeah, that's what I mean. Just sit down and just have a chat. So for a lot of people who may not even know, of Mr. Greggles, you are, in essence, a drumming Twitch streamer. I guess, like, if I narrow it down to a very, very specific thing, but how did all this come about with doing the drumming on Twitch and stuff?
So, back in sort of 2016, I was running a tech business, actually, which was related around software that I'd invented. And let's just say it went really, really well, and then very badly, very quickly. Through no fault of my own, but it landed me in a position where I was having to essentially defend myself in court to claim my own patent back, which was really fun. But at that time, I wasn't able to do what I'd been previously doing, which was I worked as a visual effects artist for films. And I wasn't able to do that. I was in this position where I'd gotten a job at just Tesco's. And I was like, what am I going to do? I hadn't drummed for several years, and my mate turned around to me and was like, hey, have you heard of this thing called Twitch? And we played Daisy for a couple of months, and I think I had 2 people watch me. And then he turned around, I was like, no, it's not for me, I'm going to quit. And he was like, drum. Why don't you drum? You've not done it in ages, because I was in that sort of a rut. I was like, nah, no one's going to watch it. 17 people immediately. From having, the good old Commander Root bot being my only viewer for like 2 months, it was insane. And I just got absolutely hooked with sharing that love of drumming that, again, had sort of been dampened by everything going on, and it rekindled it. So it allowed me to share my passion, but also when it came to Twitch streaming, obviously it's all live production. I'd been working in the world of post-production with cinema and film. So I took all of that knowledge that I had from post-production and was like, hey, what crazy stuff can I do live? And that's sort of what really started to uptick my channel. Was it wasn't just, hey, here's a guy playing songs, and drumming, but actually taking crazy effects and allowing the audience to control them and so on and so forth. And then, to be honest, the rest is history, because it's every time I've had an idea, I've been like, hey, this might actually be possible with the nature of how Twitch is, because you're truly unrestricted, and the more unique you are, the better it's received. So yeah, my whole thing has sort of become that guy who drums with 1 million cameras.
I mean, yeah, that I think is a better way of summing it up than I think I started out with, right? But it's not far off. And we can kind of get onto the bullet time stuff, I guess, like further on. But aside from the streaming, for those that don't know, you do have this kind of like whole business venture going on with multiple different facets and stuff. So is that something that spawned after, doing the streaming, and it's kind of just naturally grown from that?
Yeah, so the sort of tech company side that sprung up, I've always been a bit entrepreneurial, which usually I hate throwing that around that world, but it's definitely the best way to describe it. Very much, a Thanos moment of, oh, no one's doing this, I'll do it myself. It got to the point where I wanted something simple, like my viewers in chat to be able to just change my camera. And to do that, I had to layer 6 different programs on top of each other, just talking to each other. I had 3 PCs that I'd rigged up this system using something from the drumming world called MIDI to talk to each other, which would break constantly. And I remember being on front page 5,000 people watching, and my system went down. Like, the PCs were up, but just could not talk to each other. And after that, I was like, hey, I can't live like this and stream like this going on. So all of the sort of tools that my company now creates for streamers stemmed from those ideas of just, I need it. We started showing it off on stream, and then people were coming in and going, how are you doing this? And admittedly, myself and my business partner, after a couple of whiskeys one night, went, you know what? Why don't we make this for people? And yeah, we've been going nearly 4.5 years now.
I'm actually quite interested. What's your setup like? Because you must have some crazy hardware to run these streams.
Yeah, so I used to run 6 systems to do all the cameras and everything, and that was a bit mental. But then along came Threadripper, which truly revolutionized how I do things. So I run 2 systems. That's 2. I am a drummer, I can count. I run an Intel i9 13th gen system for my audio. High clock speed, so it can run everything, because a lot of audio is very like single-threaded, not great for multi-thread. But then for all of the cameras are connected into a single Threadripper Pro system, which it has all the PCIe lanes. So I'm using an Asus workstation board, which has like 7x16 slots, which the top 3 slots are just for 3 graphics cards, because I have more monitors than any sane person should. But then the other 5 are, shall we say, using PCIe splitters. It's called bifurcation, for anybody who isn't aware of that. It's really cool tech. So I'm bifurcating, splitting those last 5 X16 so I can run multiple capture cards, USB cards. So it is one system that technically does all of the OBS work, but it's a very unique system, to say the least. But it does the job. I'm already looking at how I upgrade it.
Yeah, what's coming next? Have you got any crazy plans for the future?
So the bullet time has always been that one thing that sort of put me on the map as oh wow, that's pretty crazy. And I don't know of anyone else on Twitch that does the same sort of level of camera work. And my aim is to expand the quality. So right now I've got lots of cameras, but they all run at 1080p. I'd love to get to the point where every single camera is 4K, because it facilitates not only better image quality and the ability to stream to more platforms that are accepting 4K, but also digital cropping, zooming, fancy effects. So the next step really is another, probably most likely, Threadripper Pro system that can support even more capture cards. Either that, or I've got to go to the EPIC line of CPUs, and I will have no bank account for at least the next 10 years.
With the bullet time stuff as well, like you say, you are probably the only person doing that, especially on the Twitch space. So where did that idea spawn from?
It's so funny. So I was drumming one stream, and as you're playing, and I lost grip of my stick. It bounced off my drum in front of me, and I dodged it. And someone in chat just joked, they're like, "Oh, Greggles, more like Neo, more like Greggles, something along those lines." And I went, "Oh yeah, love the Matrix," because I'm a massive film buff. And I went, "Wouldn't it be cool if we had the bullet time?" And I joked. It was purely a joke. But I went to bed, and my brain just started ticking over, going, "But what if we could?" Because the one thing about bullet time, which the amount of people who come in and see the effect, and they go, "Why don't you just use one camera?" I mean, well, aside from the idea of inertia, if you had a physical camera and a motor, you couldn't stop it, just fly into my wall. But because it's individual cameras, you can do so much with that. And it was just that case of it ticking over in my mind, constantly going, how can I achieve this? How could I achieve this? I got a load of webcams. I tested it. Logitech were the first ones to sort of support the idea. Having a chat with the Logitech rep at the time, being like, could I have 12 C922, please? And it went from there of building a system with a load of USB cards. Well, I had the system. I'd be like, is this even going to work? And when it did, it was that first proof of concept sort of opened gateway, shall we say, to it just expanding and expanding. But yeah, no, it all came from a joke.
I think like you said earlier about you like entrepreneurial. There we go, got there in the end.
It's a hard word.
It is, man. Yeah, yeah. But like that mindset you've got, but being able to translate something that was just a passing comment into what has kind of become your like the epitome of your brand, and that's grown so much about what you do on Twitch. Like it's the two things have become synonymous. Mr. Greggles with Bullet Time, and it's really cool that it did just come from a passing comment, but that you were able to go away and go, this can be real, and here's how.
I think the big thing with Twitch and a lot of streamers is, since COVID, streaming has sort of been seen as this tool now for you to push to full-time content creation. And I feel that a lot of people start on Twitch now with the intention of just making money rather than enjoying it. And one of the key parts to actually being successful as a streamer on Twitch is not going and watching all the YouTube videos on the strategy of how to, grow and etc. If you do all of that, you're actually doing what every other person is. And the people who I've sort of coached or helped, and I've said, hey, look, just stream and wait for that moment where you go, that's a cool idea, or I really want to do this, or someone in your chat makes a joke, and run with it, because that will actually make you unique. It's because anything that I've had that's been successful in my channel has come from an idea spawned while I was live, with the community that I have bouncing off me, and again, it's jokes, it's being silly. I recently did a thing on front page of Twitch where I had my whole chat play D&D. So I had them running as a character, and they were able to choose, using the polls on Twitch and a load of automation, to be like, which fork in the road do you want to go, left or right? And I had a fully automated battle system where they would all vote on, say, like the type of attack, and they would roll dice in chat. But while they were doing all of that, I would play the epic battle music on my drums. I thought it was going to flop, and it was one of the most successful streams I've ever had, monetarily and viewer-wise. And it was, again, that all spawned from someone being like, oh, imagine us all playing D&D in chat. And again, it just kept rolling.
I think people just love to feel involved, don't they, when you're creating content? And it's something I've been thinking about. The way people consume content's probably changed quite a lot from when you first started streaming. Like, we're seeing a lot more, like TikTok, for example, is come out of nowhere in a sense. Has that changed the way you create content as well?
So, all of my fellow content creators will be like, sacrilege, but I don't actually create that much short-form content, because for me, I haven't found what I consider to be my enthusiastic niche. For me, if I'm going to create content, I need to enjoy it. And I've tried to create short-form content, and every time I've uploaded to TikTok or tried a little series of stuff, I've not really gelled with it. But to better answer your question, it really has changed the landscape. Everybody now doesn't need to just be a streamer, but you need to be thinking about editing a stream down, creating clips, etc., so you can repost and grow. And it's sort of changed how people lead in and discover your stream, definitely. I definitely need to actually go out there and create more short-form content to bring more people in, to grow and all of that jazz. But the people who are successful at it, again, like myself, they've gone and found their real niche, and I haven't found that yet. So that's... I will get there, but I'm waiting for that almost eureka moment.
I think it's for your type of content, like having the community with it has been so impactful that like you're right that you kind of need that back and forth almost with them to go like what is going to gel with the right kind of people as well that are enjoying your content. There's always going to be that element of marketing yourself to new people, but still wanting to be authentic and be Greg and what you love about what you do, right? But you were talking so much about your Twitch stuff. I'm curious, like, how that translates to the live stuff you do. So for people who haven't seen Greg introed or did the opening ceremony for Epic Land last night, you've done it at other game events as well. And obviously, like, anyone can play drums live. Like, that's kind of the nature of playing drums. But how do you take your spin on it from your stream to bring it to a gaming event like this?
Yeah, so last night we didn't have the same setup that I have previously, but just because I wanted to focus on playing the drums last night. I haven't performed properly in a while, and I was like, right, I want to nail this. But usually, being a drummer, I don't have a whole band. I'm just playing to tracks. Can sometimes be a bit, people are like, well, he's just playing over a track. It can get a bit stale, and I totally get that. So I like to try and take those, like you say, the elements that my community enjoy from the stream, which is the interaction. So usually there's a big screen like we have behind us here at a lot of events now. So I bring along one of my PCs and I plug in a load of cameras and I allow the people in the audience to go on Twitch and use the channel points to say apply effects or change the camera that's actually live. And the one thing is, so many people at gigs nowadays watch through their phone, but by doing that, I get people to have their phone in their laps. They feel more involved in the performance. You know, they're actually having a real world effect, but it also keeps them eyeline engaged. And that's the sort of thing that I'm trying to push with the live is that real meld between what people enjoy on Twitch and what can be done physically with the technology that's available now. You know, go back a couple of years before smartphones were so powerful, and you wouldn't have had a chance with anything. But now, sort of, the possibilities to meld the two are pretty infinite, and I think I've only just scratched the surface as well. But I would love to take it bigger and better in the next couple of years, because yeah, I love performing live, but I think the drums definitely need that little sprinkling on top to make it more interesting.
I think that's like a really cool concept, and it keeps building on this idea of you like pushing your narrative spin on whatever you do, but also having that like that unique flair almost of melding the two, like you said, is super cool. And there's a lot of those shows at gaming events. It's kind of how do you differentiate yourself from those with your like talent for drumming, right? And it's really cool to see. I mean, the show last night, even without that, was like incredible. It was really good.
Oh, thank you.
So, and I'm not just saying that because Greg's here. I promise. Go back and watch the VODs.
He's lying.
No,
It was awful. I'm joking.
it was really good. But I also wanted to ask because last night you did a few. Well, I say a few. They were really long as well. But these like crazy remixed meme melds. I wouldn't even know how to describe them. But where do those ideas come from?
So, when I'm listening to a lot of music for the mixes, I don't go out looking for songs that blend together. I listen to so much music because of stream. I listen to so much music in my free time. There's always that like musical knowledge floating around in my head. So there's a section in the mix I had where I actually have Blood Sugar by Pendulum and La 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 Ra Da Ram Ba, oh, whatever that song is actually called. Those two, I was listening to Pendulum and I was like, wait a minute. If you pause it here, it's like, I don't know why, but it just, my brain sort of played the next part in my head, and I was like, right, okay, I need to go and find that sample. So I went out and I go to YouTube and I clip out something, and I start throwing those bits together because the ideas come from more interest from me playing, it being quite funny because I like comedy in my mixes. Like I really want to lean into more of that in the future, but also thinking of something that is jarring enough where if someone's sort of starting to in the audience sort of get a bit complacent, it makes them go, oh, well, where did that come from? But without it being a massive change. So it's all of those ideas just come from listening and then my brain going, wait a minute, that sounds like that. For example, Poker Face by Lady Gaga, you can fit perfectly Come On Barbie, Let's Go Party into there's actually like a synth vocal thing that goes on. And so I've been working on a mix now where I'm taking, inspired by like Axis of Awesome, who remember those guys who did the 4-chord song years and years ago? Sort of inspired by that to try and fit as many songs that have those same chord sequences or little riffs together. But it's just through listening, and I'm a brain going, wait a minute, and then finding the samples, laying it over to see whether I was actually right. it's a weird process. But
It was brilliant, actually. I really enjoyed it last night. You described it as musical whiplash.
Yes.
And it was. You were all over the place. So it was like, yeah, here's some pendulum, and then suddenly here's Thomas the Tank Engine. And
I love my Thomas the Tank
Yeah,
Engine.
everyone actually was really enjoying that.
You can tell you've got a crowd of people who were born in the 90s when you put on Thomas the Tank Engine. They're like, yes, banger, you know. So
I was going to ask, what is your favorite type of music to play?
So, I'm a massive progressive rock fan. There are sort of two types. If I'm drumming seriously, it's progressive rock. If I'm really trying to home a song and I'm like, I want to be as the best drummer I can, it's progressive rock. But if it's me going, I want high energy and just to really enjoy myself, it's drum and bass. Because electronic music leaves so much space for creative ideas on the drums. A lot of the time when I play, like pendulum stuff, I can play all of the drum beats exactly, but I actually enjoy playing over the track and adding to it, rather than just trying to reproduce what someone else has drummed. I can be like, hey, I've got some really cool sounds, either, stacks or cowbells, and trying to layer those into the song where people listen to it and go, wait a minute, that sounds like it's meant to be there. And then you remove it and they're like, whoa, that's Greg's drums laid on top. So yeah, drum and bass is definitely it sticks out for me. It allows me to be the most creative. So it's fun as well because I never play the same thing twice on some songs.
Would you say you have like a role model drummer, or someone who's like your favorite drummer you kind of look at and go like, that's, they're really inspiring?
Yes, you will probably not know them at all, but he has been on everything. He's a guy called Craig Blundell, and one of the reasons why he's my hero is when I first started drumming when I was 15, I went to a music shop where I'm from in Yorkshire, in York, and he was there, and he hadn't really blown up as a drummer, but he was demoing for the company who make my drum kit, Roland, and he was there, and he just blew my mind with this insane stuff he was doing with the electronics of the kit, really melding that technology with drumming, which has heavily inspired me. And he did these types of mixes that I do. That's not an original idea of mine. I got that from him and just went and chose my own samples. And I went more into the comedy and like you say, the musical whiplash. His was a lot smoother. But he, after the show, as a 15-year-old, literally been drumming not even 6 months. I went up to him and was just saying, look, you're amazing. And my parents had bought me, the sample pad I was hitting. They bought me the older version of that. And I got it, but I could not afford the stand. And I was like, look, I've got this. I'm going to be like, I'm going to make things like you. And I was so excited. He went, well, how about next time you see me, you let me know how it's going. And he picked up one of his stands. He was like, and you're going to need this. And he gave me his stand, which it cost about, what, £110 for this stand? It's just a metal stand, but that would have been a good 7-8 months of saving for me to just get a stand. And I still have the purple zip ties on the bottom of it that he'd left, so he knew it was his. And every time I sort of do something now like this, I've done a lot of shows where other kids have come up to me and gone, oh, I really want a drum. And I will always try and give them a pair of drumsticks, or I will, there's been several times where I have given them a stand or something that I have surplus of, because he inspired me to sort of try and keep that love of and enthusiasm of the drumming going. He's an incredible guy. He ended up being my drum teacher for about 7 years, which was, again, I fangirled so hard. But he now records on everything, from movies to massive bands to just filling in for doing TV shows and things. But I remember meeting him when he was just getting started, and he's stayed my hero, not necessarily just because of his playing, but because of the positive attitude that he constantly puts out that I really try and embody. So, yeah, Craig Blundell, worth looking up. He's insane.
I think I will do after this. I'm interested now. You've really sold him as an artist. I think we'll finish off some quick fire questions. I'm going to kick off with your favorite band.
Pendulum. Yeah.
Yes. Are you going to see them live? I think that they're touring right now,
I
aren't
really
they?
want to go and see them live. Their drummer has raided me on Twitch several times, and I'm like, I love you. No, definitely Pendulum, or I'm really into a band called OTC at the moment, who do meme covers. I played a song last night called Frictionless Wipe, which is exactly what it sounds like, but it's hilarious and I love it. So yeah, Pendulum and OTC.
All right, so next one then. It may end up being a Pendulum song, but favorite song to play?
Okay, it's not Pendulum. It's a song called Black Light Machine by Frost, which is a prog rock band, but it's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's 10 minutes long, but I love it.
We're going to bring it back now slightly to the world of gaming. So your favorite game of all time?
Of all time?
Yes.
Black and White by Lionhead Studios. It is... The second one doesn't exist, but if I could have someone remaster that, if Peter Molyneux would just release the rights to it, I would find someone to do it. It is... I have played that more times than I can possibly imagine. It originally took me 12 years to complete without cheating because it is so hard. But yeah, Black and White, you play as a little god. You play as a god, you're basically a disembodied hand, and you have a good and a bad side, and you choose to be good or evil. And it was one of the first games that truly let you choose your path in a game. Amazing, amazing. I encourage every single person to play it. The graphics are still okay, to be honest. But
It
no,
needs a remaster.
it really does. Have you played it?
Yes, I have. It's, one of the early PC games, kind of, yeah.
So good, I love it. But yeah, Black and White.
I'll just pretend I know what you're both on about and nod along. I sadly don't. I will add it to this growing list of games I'm gaining this
Were you gonna
weekend.
say- Is this your
Skyrim is
homework?
one of them.
Yeah, I've never played Skyrim.
Neither have I.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
You
I am so much happier now. I got judged really badly earlier when I said it. Like, we were filming, I just felt Bryony off screen just like shaking her head at me. I was like, oh god. So yeah, okay. Favorite soundtrack? We'll go with video game soundtrack.
Oh, that's a really hard one. I've got to say Halo. I'm a stickler for the nostalgia of Halo. And Steve Vai, who's one of the best guitarists on the planet, played on the soundtrack of it. It's incredible.
There's 2 points to this. Your drum cover of the Mjolnir mix last night was mega. It was so good. But Sam B. Dubs is somewhere right now with a grin bigger than I can even care to explain, because he's the biggest Steve Vai fan as well. He plays the Steve Vai Gem guitar,
Yeah.
and he loves it. So I know he's grinning ear to ear somewhere, and he's smug as anything. Okay, and then we have 2 most anticipated. So most anticipated, if I can say it, game.
Oh, that's actually a hard one because right now I'm sort of really obsessed with the games that I play.
Which are?
Dune Awakening has got me in a chokehold. Of course, Minecraft comes back every couple of months for its 2-week phase. But no, Dune Awakening is really... I'm a massive crafting game fan, but usually a lot of games don't embody a good story from a franchise that I love, and that crafting element, it always feels like it's tacked on. Dune Awakening, for me, a massive Dune and sci-fi fan, they found a way for it to be in the universe without them just doing what the film did. I think it was really creative. And then all of the systems and the crafting and everything and the way they've balanced PvE and PvP. I know some people are a bit like, oh, they want more PvP or a different endgame, but I love it because it allows me to actually play it, chill, build crazy stuff, enjoy a story. Yeah. Anticipated, now I've thought about it, would probably just be the next installment for Space Marine. Space Marine 2 was just phenomenal, absolutely perfect. I'm, again, massive Warhammer 40k fan, and I know they're already working on the 3rd one. So...
I think half the Overclockers office would agree with that. There's a lot of Warhammer fans.
Yeah, I think that again with that it was they set it perfectly, got the vibe of the universe that I love, and had something, a very unique story within it, which I loved. However, just got to add in there, if we are talking about story games, my all-time favorite, I think, is God of War Ragnarok. From a story point of view, it's so good.
So I think my personal opinion is 2018, right? The PlayStation 1. Is that the
Yeah.
right year? I'm just saying it.
There was God of
confidently
it's
now.
technically God of War 4, and then there's God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, so I thought 4 was actually story-wise was better.
I would say that for me, Ragnarok is only ever so slightly above it. Those two games really are one game for me. Like before Ragnarok came out, I went and played 4, again. And no, the character development in it is, I love the dwarves. They gutted me with what happens in the second Ragnarok. Not going to spoil it. Prepare for tears. But yeah, they're those games that I could replay again and again and again and again and enjoy it every time.
I was like stuck on the Queen Valkyrie for way longer than I care to admit.
Yes.
Way longer.
It took me like a solid 3 months of getting really angry at it, coming back.
Oh, one of the most rage-inducing fights I've had in any game.
Yeah,
Awful.
It was just the fact that they combined every single attack from every Valkyrie, but didn't have a system to it. It was so unpredictable, and some of the tells for what she was going to do next were so small. I think it's one of the few boss fights I've ever learnt. Actually learned.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But also, just still some of the most fun I've had playing. So, yeah. Right, last question. This one might be a little bit more, especially because of the world you're in, but most anticipated piece of tech.
That's really hard because there's a lot that I'm really interested in.
Can you do a top 3?
Yeah, definitely. So I am really interested in sort of the advancement when it comes to touchscreens. Recently, Corsair brought out the little screen for the side of your PC case.
Yeah, you can turn it into a Stream Deck as well, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a Zeus, which did their little Pro Art touchscreen. It has controls on it, and I have one of those which I use on stream with the virtual Stream Deck and other things I've built. I really like where touchscreens are going with how they can be. A lot of touchscreens before were just 16:9. It's basically sticking an iPad in front of you. Where now they're becoming sleeker, more form-fitted. I'm really liking where they're going. Just because I like physical interactions with my PCs. It's why I have so many Stream Decks, because a button is way better than moving my mouse to click something. On top of that, I'm really excited for just where a lot of case tech is going. I put a lot of things in rack-mounted cases. There are more rack-mounted systems that are coming out which are prettier, fit better. There's more systems nowadays, or cases that have better airflow. Super nerdy, but I'm massively about quiet systems, and the better a case is, the quieter, lower RPM you can have the fans with good airflow. So yeah, really nerdy, but I'm massively into cases. And then I'd say the final one is sort of like just really, really nerdy, but more in the drumming side, which is just audio tech. Networked audio is, if no one's played with it, it's insane. And just the ability to connect multiple systems together now, especially for streaming. The amount of people who are running dual PC systems now, and they're like, oh, I've got to have my Go XLR and another audio interface, because everyone seems to have the Go XLR. Not a fan of it, but hey, it's there. Whereas now, Elgato have gone into that space. You've got Steinberg, who I've been working with, who are coming into the audio space, and they're now building all of this dedicated software and hardware to make better audio systems between multiple PCs. And again, super nerdy, but I love that stuff. Anything that makes my life easier when I'm building setups for streamers, I am all about. So, yeah.
Amazing, thank you. So that has been the Overclockers UK podcast live. Thank you very much for Mr. Gregors for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been wonderful, and yeah, we'll see you guys around. Hope you all have a wonderful Epic Lab.